Welcome back to the channel. If you've not been here before, my name's Lee. Okay, so today I want to talk about the use of chemical weapons in Ukraine. Now, I got up this morning and as I do every day, I checked through my Twitter feed and I saw a tweet from the UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss. And that tweet read, "Reports that Russian forces may have used chemical agents in an attack on the people of Mariupol. We are working urgently with partners to verify details. Any use of such weapons would be a callous escalation in this conflict and we will hold Putin and his regime to account." I then did a search on Google and I couldn't really find anything else from any mainstream media that referred to this. There was a couple of articles from sort of non-mainstream media, but there was nothing from mainstream media. Now, I think it's very unprofessional of somebody in the position of Liz Truss, UK Foreign Secretary, to be tweeting out things like this when she doesn't have any solid evidence. Because we know the UK are all for escalating the war, it seems. You know, all the talk of supplying more weapons, you know, imposing more sanctions, etc., etc. And I really think for a foreign minister of a country with a Twitter following of 200,000 plus followers, she should exercise a bit more discretion in what she's tweeting out before she has any hard facts. When I was searching on Google, I did turn up one article that referenced chemical weapons, and this was an article about the television address Zelensky gave last night on his daily television address. And he was actually warning that Russia may use chemical agents or weapons, and that if he did, that the Western powers should put harsher sanctions onto Russia. And this seems very strange that only a few hours after this news broke, and it was apparently an Azov commander which said that some chemical agent had been used by Russia, it was dropped from a drone, and that it had affected a small amount of people who experienced some sort of breathing difficulties. Now, I have no idea whether this is true. I have no idea if it is true, whether it was Russia who did this or Ukraine that did this. But what I want to do, I just want to give you my sort of line of thinking on this. So my line of thinking on this is that I see no reason why Russia would want to do this, and I see many reasons why Ukraine would want to do this. Now, if you follow mainstream Western media, you will be under the impression that Russia are losing this war against Ukraine, that they're being pushed back, and you know, they're not in a commanding position. However, if you listen to people like Gonzalo Lira and Patrick Lancaster, two people who are actually there in or near Mariupol, you will know that that is not the case. And also, if you find alternative media to the mainstream Western media, you will also see it's not the case. And it's clear that the Russian military is clearly winning the battle in Mariupol. Most of the Ukrainian forces now have withdrew to the Azovstal steelworks, and there's a few in the port of Mariupol. It seems as though Russia have about 80% control of Mariupol port, and they are now closing in on the Azovstal steelworks. On the other hand, I think that there are a number of reasons why Ukraine would want to use chemical agents and make it look as if Russia have actually used them. So the first one is that it's clear from Zelensky's pleas to the West over the last weeks that Ukraine are in fact struggling in this war. Almost every day he's asking the West for either more weapons or more sanctions, or fly zones, or for them to get directly involved. And he knows that a red line which Biden mentioned was that of the use of chemical weapons. So if they can use these chemical weapons and make it look like Russia have done this, then it may give him a bit more clout to get some of the things he wants. It may also be that Zelensky knew nothing about this and it was something that has been concocted by the Azov battalion. I've heard from other commentator channels and also by reading alternative media that the Azov battalion within Mariupol are very displeased with the Ukrainian government in Kiev. They feel they've been abandoned and they feel that that they're not even now getting any response from calls for assistance from the government in Kiev. And so it may be something that the Azov battalion have done to gain some attention. I really don't know. And the third thing, it could be something that has been concocted by the West in order to prolong the war or get more involved. They already have history of this in Syria, where they orchestrated a chemical attack there and tried to blame that on the Assad government in Syria. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I do find it very, very strange that this news came out only a few hours after Zelensky mentioned this in his television address. I also feel it's highly irresponsible of the British Foreign Secretary to make tweets like this with little or no evidence. But I'd really like to know what you guys think, so please leave that down in the comments below. But as always, for now, take care.